So just being willing to make yourself comfortable in your seat. Sitting up on something is really nice if you have the opportunity to sit up on a block. I'm just using a block with a thick blanket on top of it. Some of you have bolsters, you can use that. And as I covered a little bit, I think last week, when we come to a seated position, we want to look at, first of all, the comfort in our low backs and our knees. So I know some of you sitting cross-legged is not an option, so you can extend the legs out in front of you. You might want to sit up against a wall if that's the case, so that you support your back. And then from here, looking at if you are sitting cross-legged, that the knees are level or below your hips. Right? Hi, Mary. All right, so just kind of looking at that, and that creates a little bit more ease also in the hips. Right? So we're looking to support ourselves so that as we come into a seated position that we can find some comfort here for a few minutes and not get too distracted by the physical body, because it's going to start talking to us, which we want to listen to today. So make any adjustments that you need to if things start to get uncomfortable. And also it's easier to center and just drop into this practice and into ourselves if we don't have those distractions to begin with. Right. Take your palms and place them down on your thighs. And begin to lengthen through the spine, but comfortable, don't force anything. Softly close the eyes. Allow the shoulders to soften away from the ears. Check in with your physical body here for a moment in the seat that you've chosen. Maybe a little scan from head to toe. And just recognize the areas that need your attention. It's an opportunity to check in to see if you truly are comfortable and if you want to make any adjustments. So really listening to your physical body. We tend to go through our day, me included, kind of ignoring when things are talking to us because we've got our agenda and we're going to stick to that agenda regardless of what the body has to say. I really invite you to take this time on your mat today to really listen to it and to allow your choices to nourish what the body needs, to really fill it with nourishment, care, kindness, instead of ignoring it. I invite you to continue to check in throughout the practice and really keep your awareness. Since this whole month of January, we're going to focus on the physical body. Much of that focus will be on allowing or bringing our attention to it, keeping our attention on the physical body and what it has to say, the sensations that we feel as we enjoy this practice. And then to also align with what your body needs if it's different than what I am sharing. So whatever I'm suggesting, a pose that we're getting into, be willing to make any adjustments you need to for your physical body each day. Aligning with your truth and honoring this physical form that we've been gifted to live with on this planet. And it's easy to focus, and we do want to be aware of those places that are talking to us. And let's take this moment to also be in gratitude for all this physical form does for us. Beating of our hearts, our blood flow, the skeleton that supports us, the ability to see and hear, think, rationalize, the ability to move through our day. And one of the areas that really carry us everywhere are our feet. Just in your mind's eye, just checking in with your feet today. When was the last time we really brought attention to our feet, except when they're bothering us? We take it for granted. So, and again, that opportunity to be in gratitude for all the places our feet carry us. From the time we step out of bed, to the walks, going to the grocery store, to our yoga practice, standing, balancing, all that it requires to have our feet. Bring awareness to your breath and begin to lengthen it. The breath is comfortable, there's no strain or stress with it. We are, however, deepening it. So lengthening it out, but comfortably, and evening it out between the inhale and the exhale. So finding a nice even flow and smooth. So although we'll be focusing on primarily around the physical body this month, we want to also make sure we acknowledge and engage with the other layers of our being, our breath body, like we're doing, our energy body, which is with the breath, also our mental and emotional bodies. So just recognizing any emotions that are there at the surface today. Thoughts that may be carrying you away from this moment. And our anchor will be the physical body, our sensations in the physical body to quiet the mind. And strengthening our relationship to our wisdom body. That place of inner knowing. And the stronger the relationship we build with our wisdom body, our inner teacher, the less we live in doubt and fear. The more we trust and have faith in ourselves and our lives. So let's go ahead, and if whatever you're sitting on, I'm going to ask you to, at least I find it easier to work with my feet if I'm not sitting up on something, so I'm going to remove what I'm sitting on. I'm just going to move it off to the side, but you can decide what's most comfortable for you. We're going to play with our feet, and I did print out the chart that was provided in your newsletter, and I'm going to use it as notes because I don't have all these points memorized. And there's a slight difference between the bottom of the left versus the right foot, but the toes are the same. So we're going to work with our right foot first. And before we go there, what I want you to do is just take your palms and let's rub them together. Just vigorously rub the palms together until you start to really feel some heat, some warmth right in the center of the palm. We're going to take all that warm energy and just lightly place it over that right foot. Right? Just that idea of just very softly, I'm just moving that warmth through my foot, bottom and top. And then you might gently massage the foot a bit, just getting into various little points in the feet, noticing if there's some tenderness. So to some extent, we don't always have to be looking at a chart, right? This is kind of the way to connect into our wisdom body, is through paying attention to the physical. So if there is a tender point, there's something going on there. And you might, if you're really interested in knowing exactly what it is, you can always look at the chart and just kind of see, or just trust it, right? And just kind of gently massage those places. You can hold there for a little bit. So just take another moment here with your breath, getting familiar, with your right foot and any points of tenderness. And also keeping at the forefront of our mind all that our feet do for us. And just continuing to keep in that gratitude. Just take a couple more breaths here. And so if we look at the toes, and this will be the case for both the right and left, and I'm on my right foot right now, but the big toe, at the very tip of the big toe, is all about the top of the head and our brain, right? And then we kind of move down a little bit into the big toe. We're looking at the pineal and the pituitary gland. And then the inside of the big toe is about our nose. So just on the inside edge of the big toe. It'll be hard for me to describe exactly where I am, so you can always look back at the recording on YouTube and we can go through that, and you can go through it again and then do it with the chart so you can kind of see. And then the inside of the big toe is the ears. Maybe that's where we focus for those of us who has tinnitus. Maybe we can focus on the point of the inside of the big toe and help with that. Who knows, right? And then if we look at the top of all of our second through fifth toes, the very tip of those toes all work with our eyes, our sinuses, and also the brain. So just kind of take a moment, massage the tip of the big toes. And then at the base of the second and third toe are the eyes also. Maybe massage that, notice if there's some tenderness there. And at the base of the the fourth and fifth toe, it's the ears. Ooh, I have some tenderness there. Now with the right foot in particular, if you go to the outside of the baby toe, we're working with the shoulder and the arm. Actually, this is the same on both feet as well. So shoulder and the arm. And then on the ball of the right foot, we're looking at the lungs, the breasts, and the chest. All right, so just massaging that area. And any of you with asthma or anything with your lungs, notice if there's some tenderness there. And then right at the base, so you have the ball of your foot there, and right center to the little indentation, that's our solar plexus. And so we can work on just notice if there's a tender point there. Below that slightly is the liver, just above the arch of the foot and kind of going across. We have the gallbladder in this area as well. And then the inner arch of the right foot, we have the stomach, pancreas, the adrenals, and the kidneys. And that's the same on both. And then on the right foot, as we move to the outer part above the heel, but the outer edge of the foot, we're working with the ascending colon. And through more of the center, top of the heel, we're working with the transverse colon, small intestines. And then we move to the inner part of the all the way at the bottom of the arch, but where the heel is, the inner edge of the foot, that's the bladder, or bladder. The opposite of that is our hips and our appendix. And then at through the center of the heel works with anything if you have sciatica. So I'm just noticing if the center of your heel is tender. All right, so we're just kind of getting familiar with that. I just wanted to go through it briefly, but definitely worth looking at if that interests you. So release the left foot, come back to the palms. Let's go ahead and just create some more warmth in there. And once you feel that, we'll come to our left foot and just gently place the warmth, that energy on the left foot. Allowing it to feel our care and attention. And then just gently massaging it. And then noticing if there's tender points here. And then it could be different than the right foot. It's like getting to know our feet for the first time. And really bringing our attention to them. So again, top of the big toe, we're looking at our brain, top of the head, and just below that also the pineal and pituitary. And then the inner, or the outer edge of the toe, the nose, the base of the big toe there. Right. And then the neck and throat are right at the bottom of the big toe. Inner edge of the big toe is the ear, same as it was on the right. And then looking at the tops or the tips of all the second through fifth toe, we've got the eyes, sinuses, and brain again. Just give them all a little squeeze. Beneath the second and third toe are the eyes. Those a little attention. And then the ears are at the base of the fourth and fifth toe. And just paying attention to any tenderness you might experience. The outer, so go below the pinky toe and to the outer edge of the foot, that's our shoulder and arm. And then just to the inner edge of that, where the big toe kind of rounds, is the thymus. The ball of the left foot, we also have the lungs, breast, and chest, and we also have the heart here. Just massaging that, massaging the heart, organ of the heart. And work our way down below the ball of the foot. Again, stomach, pancreas, the adrenals, and kidney. Spleen. Moving to the outer edge of the foot, we work with the descending colon. Keep moving down to the hip. And then the center of the heel, also sciatica. So some of you, you may have just noticed areas that are a little tender and you can just spend some time there. And I really encourage, it's kind of the same way I approach my massages, in that you do so with loving kindness, right? Tenderness, not of forcing or digging in or getting impatient with our bodies, but to really acknowledge and honor all that they do with a loving kindness and attention to that. And then go ahead and release that. Take a moment, just feel the feet. Just kind of noticing how the feet are feeling today. Or even just after the massage, maybe noticing the energies moving through the feet. And then we'll go ahead and just kind of point and flex. So now a little bit in the ankle, but moving in the toes, you can circle it around. Good, and let's go ahead and find our way to standing. Coming to our feet. So one thing you can do, and I'm not doing it today, but you could take a tennis ball, right? You can take your fascia balls, they're almost too soft, but if your feet are rather tender, that might be nice. Let me adjust my camera. And you can stand on one foot, and you can certainly use a wall to balance and just kind of roll with the ball and just kind of massage the whole bottom of your foot. Certainly an option. We're not doing that this morning. What I would like you to do is to find your feet parallel and hip width apart. And then notice what it feels like to lift the toes, and see if you can learn to spread the toes, yoga toes, right? Learning to make them very active, waking them up, and then see if you can start to press the baby toe, and then the fourth toe, and then the third, and the second, and then the big toe. It's hard to individuate them like we can with our hands, but you can play with that a little bit, and then bring up just the big toe, and put that back down. Can you lift up the second through fifth toe, but leave the big toe? Right, and then just coming back, lifting all 10 toes, and then seeing if you can spread them out. So it just creates a bigger platform for us to stand on. So it creates a sense of more of groundedness and connectedness to the earth. Yeah. Again, feet parallel. And now notice where you tend to place most of the weight, right? Becoming familiar with our feet. So do you tend to be more forward towards the ball of your feet? Do you tend to come back to the heels? Or do you have a tendency to have the weight evenly distributed along the entire footbed? Just kind of noticing. And what does it take for you to find that balance, to find that even distribution of weight? And then notice if you, like me, I supinate, or pronate rather, in that I have fairly flat feet. And when our arches are flat, our knees tend to collapse in. So much happens through the rest of the body depending on what's happening in our feet. Right? So really being aware of that. Or do you have a really high arch and you have a lot of weight on the outer edges of your feet? And if you do, then you want to kind of bring some attention to the mound of the big toe, anchor that down a little bit more, right? So there's a lot going on here. Right? So just feeling that. I think there are, Marie's more probably up to date this side. I think there's 26 bones in each foot. That's a lot of bones, right? And then as you found your center through your feet, just notice the response that the rest of the body had. And so just paying attention to the physical form and what shifted all the way up. Knees are soft, we're not locking into the knees, and they're aligned over the ankles. And then our hips are aligned over the knees, our shoulders over the hips, our ears over the shoulders. So finding our posture, standing tall, open-hearted, arms by your side. Find your breath. Continue to connect in with the feet. Yeah, in a sense, we're working our feet when we keep them in place and really root down. Knees are soft, and we're just going to start to, from the hips, so the hips generate the movement, just sway side to side. Knees are softly bent. Arms are following, so the arms are heavy and relaxed by your side. And just feel the sense of connection with your feet. They provide such stability for us. And we've really firmly rooted them. And notice how the rest of the body now can move with some ease and trust that the feet have us. They've got us. They're supporting us, as well as the earth. Just kind of really feel that. And it's interesting, where we choose to bring our attention, we start to notice things that we may not have noticed otherwise. Right? So some of these things are so subtle that unless we deliberately bring our attention to them, we miss them. Just bringing your attention, or keep maintaining your attention at your feet as the rest of the body just kind of goes along for the ride. And then slow that down and come back to center. Again, knees softly bent. Just make sure you're not locking into the knee joint if that's a tendency that you have. And let's now continue with some breath work. So find that nice even flow of breath. Continue, as you do so, continue to keep your awareness in the feet. What are you noticing as your feet are connecting into the earth? What are you feeling in the feet? Is there a sense of getting more grounded or feeling stronger, feeling solid, feeling balanced? And then from here on your inhale, allow the arms to float up overhead. Feel the lightness in the arms as the feet root down. And then exhale and allow the arms to float back down by your side. All the while, the bottom half of the body is connected to the earth, feeling solid, strong, balanced, grounded. Any other descriptors that come to you, just be in your body, feel this. As the upper half of the body takes advantage of that support beneath it, allowing it to feel lighter, right, and easier to just move with our breath. Ease in the shoulders and the neck. Allowing the bottom half of the body to do most of the work. We'll be connecting again into our feet on Wednesday. So both practices this week are going to be a lot about the feet. Arms rest by your side at the completion of your next exhale. Notice what's going on in the feet. If you can, hold it here just for a few more moments. And then we'll work into a twist. We're going to go and inhale, left arm in front of the right. We cross them in front. As you press the left palm overhead, right palm down, and rotate to the right. Feet planted, right? We're not rotating or changing anything in the feet. We inhale back to center, right arm in front of left, knees bend slightly. Exhale, press up and press down. Inhale, slight squat, left in front of right, and exhale. Feel that sense of stability in the bottom half of the body, right, from the hips down, the strength, as the upper half of the body is able to move with ease due to that support beneath you. When you've gone equally side to side, come back to center. Pause for a moment. We're going to do one more exercise here. Just keep your feet rooted if you can. And we're going to hold that ball of energy. At one point we looked at this as the moon, holding the moon. And we're going to go ahead. We inhale here and exhale, rotate to the right as if you're bringing the moon, or placing the moon back into the sky. We inhale back to center, side squat in the thighs, knees bend, and then exhale, placing the moon to the other side. Or just feeling that sense of energy between the hands as you move it. Right? So your experience, have an intention behind this, or just notice the sensations in the physical body. Continue to rest your awareness gently with the feet as well. Just noticing how they're feeling. Let's go one more to each side. Or if you got only one side to go, if you're at a different pace than I am, then just come back to center as long as you've gone equally side to side. And as you find your way back to center, relax the arms by your side. Let's go ahead and rub the palms together and at the same time lift and shake out the feet. All right, so we don't stand in stillness very long, right? So they can start to feel some heat down there. And then find your feet again, parallel, hip width apart, arms by your side. Maybe lift and spread the toes, just play with that a little again. Notice where your weight and how it's distributed along your both feet. And then let's find our way just from standing to forward fold, just a nice flow. Inhale, reach up with the arms, bring the palms together, and exhale down through center. Bend the knees along the way, folding forward. Finding our first forward fold, so you are welcome to have a block here, or come all the way to the floor, right? You can stay a little bit higher if you need to for your back today. Maybe even just rest the forearm on the thighs and begin to straighten the legs. So find your place in your forward fold and hang out for a moment. Let the spine drape over the thighs, release the head, release the shoulders. And just take a few deep breaths here. Hands are very softly resting either on the thighs, block, or floor. The weight remains in the feet. And we're going to play a little bit here. What does it feel like to come forward onto the ball of your foot? The heels even slightly lift as you begin to straighten the legs out. Right? So it's as if you feel like you're going to fall forward, but you're not. And still, the weight in the legs and the feet, you're not placing that much in the hands. Even though you're slightly forward with your weight, you're balanced and you're not placing all the weight in the hands. Legs doing the work. Arms are hanging out. And then what does it feel like to come back onto the heels? You feel like you're almost going to fall back. Lift the toes slightly. And just notice the difference. Breathe here. Relax the head, relax the shoulders. And then coming back so that the weight is evenly distributed along the entire length of both feet. Back to center. Take your hands to your hips. Bend the knees. Engage the core. Reach forward with the head. Press down. And the rest of the body follows up. Right? So the feet press down and the rest of the body floated back up. Pause and just feel that. First forward fold, and then we're going to come into moving in and out of it. Okay? So on an inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Your forward fold, whatever that is for you. Reach the arms by your side. Fingertips really reach behind you. Engage with the shoulder blades. Bend the knees. Engage the core. Lengthen the spine and come up. Arms open wide. That's all one inhale. Exhale, fold. Let's just start to move through this. And inhale. And exhale. Just finding a nice flow here. And as we flow, notice how connected your feet stay, or how supported you might feel, or strong, or grounded, centered. Just be in your experience here from the feet. Just noticing all that they're providing here for you as we move in with the upper body. Right? The lower half of the body is pretty solid and stable as the upper body moves with it, or around it rather, from that support it's providing. And the next time you find your way to standing, exhale, arms by your side. And again, just feel the practice so far. How are your feet doing? If you need to, rub the palms and shake it out again. Sometimes just bringing attention to our feet all of a sudden we notice more than we would otherwise, and they might start to feel like they're fatiguing. So again, find them parallel, hip width apart. At least that's been my experience. Right. And then let's go ahead and add on. We'll come into our half salutation. So again, bottom half of the body, nice and solid and supported. Right. Root in through the feet. Feel the weight evenly distributed through the feet. Draw that energy up through the legs, nice and strong. Core is gently engaged. Inhale, arms float up. Take a hold of one wrist and exhale over to the opposite side. Inhale, come up. Lower half of the body is solid and stable. Exhale, fold to the other side. Inhale. Exhale, lower the arms. Bring the palms to your low back as you inhale and open the heart. Just a soft back bend. And let the palms run down the back of your legs. Exhale, fold forward. Let's add a halfway up, hands to your shins, nice long spine. Inhale. And exhale, release. Inhale, find your way back to standing. And take hold of one wrist. Exhale, fold to one side. Inhale. And exhale. Just waking up the spine. Inhale. Notice what's going on in your spine. Exhale, lower the arms. How everything's feeling today. Again, physical body. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale back to standing, one more round. Just enjoy moving the spine in all directions. Inhale back up. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, come back up. And bring it all into your heart. Exhale. Pause. Feel the echo of the practice so far. Good. All right, so let's go ahead and take a block, or grab a block. We're going to play a little bit in squats and feeling that sense of strength through the legs, keeping our feet planted. And we're going to take our blocks level 2, right? So we've got 3, 2, 1 is flat. So level 2. Okay. I've got it above my knees, between my thighs, in a position that feels feels comfortable, so I don't feel like it's creating any strain. I'm holding the block there. And we're just going to gently squeeze it. You know, again, you don't have to overdo this. Check that your feet are parallel. Okay, you can lift and spread the toes again. Notice where your weight's distributed. Again, evenly distributed on both feet. Not only left and right, but front to back. We'll keep our hands low. We're going to keep them on the thighs. As you slowly just kind of find your squat, I'll turn sideways to you. Want to keep those knees behind the toes. So you're reaching back with the tailbone. The core is engaged, spine is tall. So it's not a collapsing of the heart. We're not folding forward with the spine. Want to keep it fairly upright as you just kind of check in with your knees. Notice how things are feeling today, where you want to take your squat, and then just come back up again. Okay, so feet are really nice and planted into your mats. Just feel that connection. Slowly bending the knees, just noticing where your point is today, how far you want to take this, and then coming back up. Just kind of testing things out a little bit, testing the waters. Breathe. and just moving in and out of the squat. The upper half of the body is light and lengthened as we lower and lift. Now you're going to notice to keep the knees behind the toes that you might feel like the weight comes onto your heels a little bit more. That's okay. That's going to happen if you're getting that tailbone way back. That's going to happen. And then as you come back up, replant them evenly in the floor. This next time, come down, find your version of a squat that can be very minimal if need be, and deeper if you'd like. Keep the hands on the thighs for now. That's a little less effort. Breathe, see how things feel, checking in with your physical body and noticing what serves you today. Is it sitting more deeply? You want to really get into a strong practice, perfectly acceptable to do in the wintertime, right? We're in the dead of winter right now, so really Ayurvedically coming into working with a more heating practice and strength work can be very beneficial right now. And squats really connect us into our strength and into the earth. Feel that in your feet, and then just keep breathing. If you need to come out, but if you can, continue to hold. And then you maybe bring the hands to your heart, see how that feels to you. Core is engaged, spine flowing. Notice if you're folding forward too high or too much, keep that spine more or less upright. And then some of you might want to bring the arms out in front. You can feel that ball of energy if you want. And some of you might want to bring them overhead. Really paying attention to the effort and the workload in your low back here. Okay, I'm going to keep my hands lower today. Shoulders relaxed. 3 more breaths here. Feel the warmth. Feel that in your thighs. Start to feel them activate. Wake up. And after those 3 breaths, slowly find your way back to standing. And just feel the practice and feel the warmth or the energy in the legs, and the feet. And then go ahead and remove the block. And let's come back to bringing our feet hip width apart, or even a little bit wider actually. Let's take them more as wide as our shoulders. Most of us, I think our shoulders are a little wider than our hips, but for some they may be about the same. Right. Again, knees soft, we're not locking into the knees, feet parallel. We'll keep the arms low for a moment as you lift the heels off the floor. So come up onto the balls of your feet. Notice how that feels stability-wise. How does it feel physically on the toes and the balls of our feet? If we have any sensitivities going on, we might feel that. And then slowly bring the heels back down into your mat. And then again, lift up. Finding a point to look at, your drishti, is important here for balance. And then slowly come back down. And also notice if you're breathing or are you holding your breath. And again, one more time. And back down. Shake it out. Shake out the feet. Okay. I know as soon as I bring a lot of attention to my feet, I'm aware of more. I'm more aware of what's going on with them, and particularly some areas of discomfort that I ignore a lot through my day that I want to start paying attention more to. Okay, so then finding them parallel again, shoulder width apart. All right, so from here, let's go ahead and inhale. Palms are facing up. They're in front of me facing up. We inhale all the way up. As we get to the heart, palms press up, gaze up. It's all one inhale. Open the chest, hold the breath for a moment in that fullness as you're rooting down through the feet. Exhale, release the shoulders, slightly bend the elbows and look straight ahead. And then we're going to inhale, press up and lift the heels. Hold the breath, hold Hold the pose, feel the strength and the warmth. And then we'll go ahead and open the arms wide as you exhale and lower everything back down. Weight evenly distributed along both feet. Just feel that. And we'll do it again in just a moment. Inhale. One long inhale, gaze up, feet rooted. Press down, reach up. Hold. And softly exhale, soften the elbows, gaze straight ahead. Inhale, press up, lift up. Hold at the top. And exhale, lower it all down. And just feel that. One more time. Inhale. Hold in that fullness, root down, press up. Exhale, soften and take the gaze straight ahead. Inhale, press up and lift up. And exhale, slowly release. And feel. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to take a straddle and find your blocks again. And we'll place them out in front of us. And we want to start with a fairly wide straddle, but of course take care of your body. And if that doesn't feel nice to you, then narrow it up a little bit, that's okay. Our feet are parallel, again. And notice between right and left, are you evenly distributed in your weight? Notice where you tend to collapse. If the outer edge of you tend to supinate, go to the outer edges of your feet, or are you collapsing into the arch? Notice what happens to the legs. You can even play with this. If I collapse into my arches where the outer edges of my feet lift, I can see how my knees start to collapse in, vice versa. And either way, it doesn't feel as stable. Right? So really becoming aware of that and just noticing, can you evenly distribute between all 4 points of your feet, either side of both heels, big toe, pinky toe. Right. From here, hands to your hips, spine tall. So we're feeling our foundation from the both legs and both feet, feeling that strength. The legs are strong without locking in the knee joint. Okay. And from here, spine elongated, we reach back with the tailbone, forward with the heart. Finding our forward fold to the block. If you have to bend the knees to get to the block, that's fine, but I really want you to get to your block. Okay, and then we just bring both palms to the block. Spine is elongated here. We want to feel as if we're in a 90-degree bend, or the upper body is parallel with the floor. We're looking down at the floor. If you can, please follow my instructions without looking up so that the back of the neck stays elongated. Again, where are your feet? Notice if anything shifted as we moved our way into the fold. From here, go ahead and take the tailbone as you anteriorly tip the pelvis, as if you're trying to create a little bit of a back bend, and you're going to kick in that stretch just a little bit more through the hamstrings. And if you don't feel that, you have a lot more mobility in your body, you are welcome to lower the block. Okay, so for those of you who have it available, you can come down to level 2, level 1, or even remove the block altogether. We're still keeping the hands out in front of us a bit so that the spine stays a little bit more elongated here. And breathe. Rooting down through the feet, feeling the strength and the support in the legs and the stretch as the upper body finds its way, right, into the position that feels right for you. And then eventually you might be able to hang out a little bit more, and some of you might be able to take your hands to the center of your mat and completely let go here.
We're just working our way mindfully, paying attention to the signals that the body gives all along the way. Yeah, so rather than ignoring those things, we really want to listen and pay attention. Let's take a few more breaths here. Keeping aware of how anything may have shifted in the feet. And then we'll go ahead and come back to the block. Back where we started, level 3, lift the heart, spine long. Feel the ease here if you did change it up. Okay, and then heel toe. Just kind of bring the feet to about hip width apart. Still on the block. Bend the knees, take your hands to your hips, and slowly come up. And let's shake that out again. So I don't know about you, but I feel that a lot more in my feet in the straddle than when they're directly underneath me. All right, but we are coming back to the straddle. We're going to work our way into a twist with the spine, and you may want to use your block again. So come back into your straddle. Okay, feet parallel. Notice the arches and the outer edges of the feet and that you're firmly planted in all 4 points. Hands to your hips. Core gently engaged, spine tall. Fold at the hip flexor, not the waist. Reaching back with the tailbone. Forward with the heart, and bring your hands to the block. We're going to keep it front and center, the block for now. Okay. Keep the left hand on the block, right hand to your hip. Keep reaching back with the tailbone, and for those of you who have the tendency to lock in your joints, make sure those knees are soft. From here, core engaged, feet firmly planted, and we'll slowly, you can shift the hips, okay, so the feet don't move, but the hips will shift to the right as you roll open to the right. So there's a spaciousness in our twist here. We're not necessarily, unless you want to, we're going to stay here today, but you are welcome to take this more deeply. If that is what your body is asking, really listen to that. You can shift the block to the right and even closer to your foot for a deeper twist if that's necessary for you. Shoulders, the left shoulder, keep that away from the ear. And then if you choose, you can decorate the pose, extending the right arm up and even taking your gaze to the right fingertips. And just noticing if that feels okay in your neck today. You can also extend the right arm but look down. That's an option. Or keep that right hand on your hip. Take a couple more breaths here into this twist. Just squeezing out the spine. And then slowly find your way back to center. Both hands on the block. Take a breath or two here. Let that twist settle in. Right hand stays on the block, left hand to your hip. And then shift the hips to the left. Slowly roll the heart open to the left. Everything stays lifted and spacious here as you root down to the feet. Upper body's light. And then same thing, you can decorate the pose, extending the left arm, shifting the gaze up to the left fingertips. Or keep everything low. And you can keep the gaze down. And then slowly unwind back to center, both hands on the block. And again, heel toe, heel toe. Find your feet parallel and underneath the hips, hip width apart. Bend the knees slightly, engage the core, hands to your hips, and press down to come back up. Good, shake it out. Shake out the feet. Okay, so let's find our way to the front of your mats, feet hip width apart. Come into Tadasana, mountain pose. That's what we worked on at the very beginning of class, finding the alignment of the ankles to the knees, to the hips, to the shoulders, to the ears. With the feet initiating that whole posture. Starts from the feet up. Gazing straight ahead. Knees soft, core engaged, heart open. So from here, we're going to go ahead and step back with our right foot, placing the right heel into the floor, keeping the hips straight ahead. Okay. We're going to go ahead and keep the hands low for now, feeling the strength and support and groundedness, the earth beneath our feet. So the feet, again, are the focus. From here, we're going to bend into that front knee, keeping the knee behind the toes. So if you find your knee coming out in front of the toes, widen your stance. Step farther back with that right foot. Okay, so the deeper you want to bend into the front knee, the more you're going to have to step back with that right foot. And we want to keep that right heel on the floor though. Okay, so my foot is at just a nice, very slight angle. Right? It's not, my toes aren't, if I open my toes wider to the right, that opens my hip to the right. And I don't want that. I want to keep my hip forward. So if I take my toes more at a, I don't know, maybe a 30-degree angle, I'm able to keep that right hip forward. Right? From here, go ahead and find the bottom half of your pose, your foundation of the pose. So how deeply you've decided to bend into the front knee. Back leg is nice and strong. All 4 points of both feet anchored. So find that stability from your feet. And the rest of the body has a sense of lightness. It's being supported. Okay? Gentle engagement of the core. You can keep the arms low. You can keep them at your heart. Maybe you'd like to open up into goalpost arms. Just open the heart here. Traditional warrior one, arms overhead, shoulders away from the ears, palms face one another. Or interlace the hands behind you, shoulders stay down and back. And open up here. So it's just really holding in the pose, feeling our strength that we have, rooting into the earth, and walking through life with our hearts open. Slowly release that, straightening that front leg, and step forward. Notice the difference between the right and the left side of the body, the legs and the feet. They were in a very different position. I feel a little differently here. And then we'll take our left foot and step it back. Find that angle on that back foot that allows the left hip to be forward. Test the waters. So bend and straighten. See how this knee feels. Notice if it's tracking over behind the toes and in alignment with the ankle. Right? So you might find a different position on this side than you did on the first side. Okay? And then go ahead and settle into the pose. Bend into the knee as much or as little as it's right for you today. Keep checking in and listening to the physical body. So we're observing our choices to see if we're ignoring the physical body and doing what we want, or if we're really listening to what nourishes it. Okay? And then from here, the core is slightly engaged, spine tall. And you decide on the expression or the decoration of the pose with the arms. All the same apply, depending on where you'd like to be. So we move through life from a place of being grounded, secure, strong, open, soft heart. Breath is flowing. And then slowly begin to straighten the front leg and step the back foot forward. Feet directly underneath you, hip width apart. Breathe and just feel. Good, let's shake it out. Shake out the feet. And we're going to work our way to the floor. So let's inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Walk both feet back. We haven't even done a down dog today, so let's go ahead and walk both feet back and take our dogs for a walk. Just going to move around through the spine and the shoulders and just enjoying the ability we have to be in this physical form, right? To move in all the different ways that we do. All that provides us in our lives. And I know some of you will need to come onto the belly, but if you have it available to come into child's pose, we're going to bring our knees to the floor and draw back. Sit bones to heel. Rounding the spine. You might feel a stretch to the top of the feet. The feet might feel relief to be in a different position. Just kind of notice what's going on in the feet. Just feel that for a moment, and then take some time to work through other areas of the body. Just noticing what's talking to you, what feels at ease here. Whatever pose you're choosing. Just feeling the echo of the practice in the physical body. And go ahead and come on up, and we're going to roll onto our backs. Let's see, I don't have plans for any props at this time, except that if you might want a blanket underneath your head in a little bit, not quite yet. So once you make your way onto your backs, go ahead and draw the knees into the chest, giving yourself a little hug. Feeling the low back round, the tailbone sacrum off the floor, just feeling that stretch, and having our feet not supporting us right now. So our feet are unweighted, just feel that. And then we'll find our way into our Apanasana. Inhale, arm lengths away, and exhale towards you. So our legs have been doing all the work for us today. And here we have an opportunity in a way to say thank you. So we want to let them relax into the support of our hands on our knees. Okay, so the arms are taking the legs through the motions. And then we'll take the knees and circle them around in one direction. A little massage on the low back. Switching directions. And then maybe taking the knees and circling them wide and back together. Placing the feet into the floor. Since we've done a lot of focus in on the legs, let's take care of them just a bit here with the hips by taking the right ankle to the left knee. A little stretch here. You can flex that right foot. It can help any tension you might feel in the knee. And from here you have the option to press the knee away with your right hand, or interlace the hands through the hole behind the left thigh, picking that left foot up off the floor, and breathing here. So staying present to the stretch and where you feel it. Bring that left foot back down to the floor. Shake out that right leg a little bit. Maybe extend it along the floor and just shake it side to side. And then we'll shift the other side. Left ankle on the right knee. Maybe flex that foot. Could feel nice on the knee. Press that knee away. Keeping that right foot in the floor, or picking the figure four up off the floor. And finding the stretch here. Breathing. Stay present to the physical body, what you're feeling here in the physical body. And then we'll go ahead and release that, shake out that left leg. And then we'll come into our double knee drop, so taking your feet about as wide as your mat. You can go hip width apart and feel it. I find the wider my feet are, the easier I experience it in my low back. So that's why I offer this. On an exhale, release the knees to one side. Inhale, open wide, and exhale, release to the other side. So just a gentle twist, a nice release to the low back and sacrum from all the standing we did. We're also rolling side to side in our feet. So we oftentimes pay attention to the groin and the low back and the hips here. So notice what your feet experience as they roll side to side, back and forth. And if you want to rotate your head in the opposite direction of the knees, you're welcome to do so, or just keep the gaze straight up to the ceiling. gone equally side to side. Come back up with the knees. Feel the feet hip width apart, parallel. And let's find our way into our hip hikers and sliders, or sliders, just right, sliding or hiking the hips up the mat towards the shoulder. Tailbone, buttocks, stay in the floor. Feet are very light, although they're in the floor. We're not pressing into the feet to create the action. It's coming from deliberate intention of moving through the hips. Feet are soft. Bring that to center. Now we will deliberately press into the right foot as you point the right hip up to the ceiling, straight up and back down. And then switch sides, left and back down. One foot presses into the floor while the other relaxes. Both knees stay straight up towards the ceiling. There's no swaying side to side with this. Keep the movement smaller. Come back to center with that one. And then just take a moment to alternate between the two. Breath is steady still. Very deliberate breathing, mindful movement. Finding it all back to center. Pause in stillness for a moment. Checking in with the physical body. Just noticing any sensations, anything that may have changed or shifted from the beginning of class. Just breathe with that for a moment. And then from here, go ahead and find your way into Shavasana. So any props that you would like, a blanket underneath your head, something rolled up underneath your knees, opening a blanket on you, whatever you would like. I'm going to come to seated to take you through a guided visualization. You'll stay on your backs, traditional Shavasana. As you settle in, really allow your feet to splay open. So notice if you're carrying any tension in the feet. As you extend the legs out along the floor, and just invite them to relax, and they should just open. So just taking another moment to get settled in. For those of you who are there, bring your awareness to your breath for a moment till we join you. Making any last minute adjustments that you need to for the physical body to be comfortable. Once you've settled in, allow the breath to become quiet. As you bring your awareness, bring all of your attention to your feet. In particular, to the bottoms of your feet. Noticing any sensations in the bottoms of your feet. Warmth, tingling, fatigue. It's
Whatever it is, just recognize it. And bring all of your attention to the tops of your feet. Noticing any sensations at the tops of your feet. Bring your attention to all 10 toes. All 10 toes at once. You can even wiggle them if you want to. Notice if there's one toe in particular asking for your attention, or that you just feel a little more sensation than the others. Or do they all feel equal? Your heels. Bring your attention to your heels. Your ankles. All your attention rests at your ankles. Your shins and calves simultaneously on both legs. Both knees. Bring your attention to both knees. Both thighs. Both legs, the entire length of both legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. Bring your attention to both legs. Hips and pelvis. Your low back. What are you experiencing in your low back? Mid back. Upper back. Your entire back body. Full length of your spine. Awareness rests on the back of your torso. Your belly. Bring your attention to the lower belly. Any sensations? Solar plexus. Your chest. The entire front of your torso. Bring your attention to all of those areas at once. Bring your attention to your entire torso, back and front. Front and back of the neck. Both shoulders. Both upper arms. Both elbows. Both forearms. Any sensations in the forearms. Both wrists. Palm of your hands, both palms of your hands. Any sensations there? Just be with it. The back of the hands. All 10 fingers. Just notice all 10 fingers at once. And notice if there's one that's asking for your attention a little bit more. One has a little more sensations than another. The entire length of both arms. Bring your awareness to the back of the head. Any sensations in the back of the head, and what your head is resting on. Facial muscles, front of the head, your face, just noticing any sensations there. Entire head. Bring your awareness to your entire head. Now bring your awareness to the whole body, head to toe. Whole body awareness. And taking a moment here to rest in gratitude for all that our bodies do for us. We've barely scratched the surface here. We didn't get to any of our senses and organs, muscles, ligaments, bones. Just an awareness of this entire body, resting in gratitude for all that it does for us, all the places it takes us. sense of gratitude to flood the body, the energy of gratitude. Take some very deliberate, deep breaths, and in doing so, wiggle some fingers and toes or any little bit of movement in the body. Maybe even reaching or stretching overhead. And within the next few breaths, make your way to one side. And then slowly find your way to a seated position. Bringing your palms together at your hearts. Take this moment to recognize this time you gave yourself today, this time of self-care. Your body thanks you. And I thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher today. Namaste.